All right, everybody. My name is George. I am here, and over there is
Esther.
Esther's over there. Wow, she's looking cute. I cannot deny. Okay, so today, what?
All right.
You look great.
Move past that right quick.
Oh, you want me to stand
She's
for a
looking
while?
cute. Anyway.
Lipstick, very nice. Hair, very cute.
I'm feeling
How are you feeling?
unwell.
I am very
I'm feeling crusty.
You don't
dry.
feel good? Well, I'm sorry that you don't feel good, but
At least I'm not looking it.
we are here. Yeah, you look great.
So, success.
Yes, we are here to talk about mindful monthly mapping, creating strategies for maximum productivity. Now, one of the big reasons that we're also here to talk about this is that we are consistently working on this ourselves. So this is not something by any means that I would say we have perfect or super well done. It's something that I think is important to consistently work on and reevaluate on a regular basis to feel like you've arrived, right? You've never arrived, but to have that feeling is a consistent work and a consistent effort. So we've been redoing a lot of our scheduling. We've been redoing a lot of our stuff. And we're basically going to talk about it here and see how it's going and give you two different perspectives. Esther and I are very different people.
We have some different thoughts.
And
But we're also very similar. A lot of similar opinions and ideas, but just a very different way of like processing and doing things.
No, I would completely agree with that. I think that we have, if not similar, the same things that we value, things that we think are important. Basically similar, values. So yes, but then we come at those values that we would say are good differently, which can be very helpful. And my shirt has these weird like rips in them, pulls in them, so it looks kind of weird. So let's go ahead and get started. We have some things written down, some general questions we'll ask each other to kind of get the idea going. And Esther, I will start with asking you a question.
All right.
So diving into the world of strategic monthly planning, what would you say are the key elements that elevate overall productivity?
It kind of, I don't know if this is the right
Get the
way to
microphone a
answer
little
this.
farther in front of you, and then like farther, and then in front. Yeah.
But what helps productivity with me is a plan, which is kind of what it's saying there because it's talking about monthly planning.
Okay.
But having things mapped out and scheduled and written down, even if it's just like a to-do list, I feel like that boosts my, because instantly once it's on like a little, I put it in notes with like the little bubble next to it.
Yes.
Instantly once it's in that format, I'm like twice as excited to finish it.
Oh, I see.
So that I can
check it off.
Yeah.
So
that I can look at it.
Accomplish something and then go back and make one up for it and then click it.
I have done that. Yes.
So have I. No, that's completely legitimate. Whatever makes you feel, good about getting stuff done, writing it down, checking it off, do it.
And also on that note, part of why I like doing that is to show you when you're home. So accountability is also huge, so that you can be like, this is all the stuff I accomplished.
Right. Absolutely.
To whoever.
And not that she has to show me what she's done during the day, but we work together. So we run multiple companies together. We do a lot of different things together, and usually I am the person that sets the goals for those things. So kind of to describe a little bit what she is meaning by that. But yeah, no, I'm someone that likes to see things being done. I'm someone who likes to, if we're apart for whatever reason, I'm at work or she's doing whatever, we're together a lot of the time. But, when one of the main places we work, we both work there. So, but once we're kind of more together and everything else is kind of done, I am someone that likes to be like, hey, what did we do? What did we do today? Recap, blah, blah, blah. So I think that is super important. And the accountability thing, that's what I want to talk about for a second, because even in a marriage, right, like this, we've been married coming up on 5 years. Mm-hmm. There's accountability there. You need to have people outside as well, different people that you also would go to and have accountability with, groups, mentors, people that friends, people older than you, someone that you're going to get ideas, plans from to implement, people who've gone before you and done it before you. So, I mean, when Esther's writing off yada yada to come and show me, it's usually things, again, goals that I have set for us or goals that I've helped set for her. I am more of a goal setter, and Esther's more of someone who then accomplishes those things.
But it's also, even if it's just stuff that's not something we've set together, if it's just like house things or whatever, I tend to be more productive when you are gone doing other stuff. So
like on your own.
Then when you get there, I'm like wanting to hang out and talk about our day and like do not as productive things. So it's just nice to be like, look at what we both did. Now let's hang out.
Yeah. In a marriage too, because obviously we're going to bring that dynamic, and there'll be other people we talk to and different things that we discuss. But in that dynamic, I would say specifically, there is that difficulty of like, well, shouldn't we also be productive together? It's like, no, we've been being productive all day. So there is, a time and a space for each thing. I'm just going to kind of read this one out loud. I might answer it. But monthly planning versus shorter term plans. How do they differ, and what advantages does the monthly approach bring to the table? So I'm not really going to say what the monthly approach brings to the table per se, but I'm going to talk about the difference between a monthly and a short term. All my plans are long term, but I want them done today. A lot of my plans that should take time and should be a farther thought out thing. Like this is something that I want to work towards. I'm like, we're going to do this in the next couple days. And then I just start going. And so the issue is I'm all or nothing. That's a big issue for me that I want to work on a lot, is I'm all or nothing. Now, I do think that can bring a lot of benefit, but you need other people that you're doing that with. And that's what's so cool about Esther, is she is not an all or nothing type person. She definitely has a different way of thinking of that. So basically what I'm taking away from this sort of question would be a lot of my goals, I need to put them in smaller chunks. And if I miss one of the chunks, go ahead and put it on tomorrow. You didn't fail completely because you missed one of the things. The thing is, I put this big, huge idea, and then if I don't get to that idea quickly, I think it's failed. Well, I need to do steps. So if you have a big idea, if you have a long-term thing, think of a, day, week, month, year, 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan. I usually have those plans for myself, things that I'm working towards on a long period of time. I'm not as good as the daily stuff. And I would say Esther's much better at that. So Esther, what's your daily, how do you do good at that?
I prefer like daily stuff rather than putting something that's like this big goal, because then I feel like it stresses me out. But I feel like a way to not make the longer one stress you out is to not just be like, in 3 years, I want twice as big of a home. Bam. And then
I see what you're saying.
Just have that stress of, what if I don't get that?
Right.
But if you're going to make a goal like that, you have to make like 10 goals that are in between now and that happening, so that you don't feel like, oh my gosh, it's approaching. Am I going to be able to make it? Because probably not. If you just set that goal and then don't give yourself a daily or a monthly progression to get there, you are probably going to miss it. So I think it needs to be a balance of both.
Right.
If you're going to make a long-term goal, you need short-term goals to get there. And you can't just have short-term goals, because then if you meet your goal for today, you're like, great, easy. Cool. Next week, I'll do something else.
And that's where you and I are usually able to help each other, is that we can balance that out, where Esther would rather hit the one daily goal thing and then be done. And then I'm like
with my to-do list, I make a to-do list for the day, and then if I'm done it, I'm like, cool, weekend, relax. Make another to-do list on Monday.
And then I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to be doing a year from now? So this is actually really good. This is actually a highlight. But there's difficulties in being such different thinkers, but that's a different conversation.
The difficulty lies in trying to work together and take parts of both, because you can't do both necessarily because they're different. And it's good to be like, oh, well, we'll just balance each other out because we're two opposites. But it's not that simple. You have to work and compromise and figure out how they're going to balance each other out.
Right.
It's not just automatically going to
No,
balance out.
No, 100%. Yeah, it takes a lot of work and effort. But basically, to highlight for this conversation, would say it's good to find someone different than you. Benefit from each other because everyone has different skills. And then, again, a different conversation, we'll be talking about how do you navigate such a potentially difficult thing. You have these two very different people. If you just hang around all the people that you're like, that's who you're going to be like. If you find people that are different from you, sometimes not even necessarily better, but different, a different way of viewing things, different way to think about things. Of course, you'd also, want to be around a group of people that you feel are better than yourself, that farther along, more advanced in some way, shape, or another. But focusing in on the planning and the monthly goal setting would be make sure you have small, feasible things and make sure you also have things that you're looking forward to. Very beneficial, very helpful.
One of the things that was sticking out to me was number 12.
Okay.
Stress reduction is a common goal. What does a strategic monthly plan contribute to less stress and improve overall well-being? That's like huge for me. If I don't plan things out or have set things, I'm usually stressed.
Oh, if you don't have them set, you're stressed.
Yes. Because if I
what if
don't
you
have
set
a plan, if I don't have a plan for the day and I have the day off or something and I don't have any, and then I'm halfway through the day, I'm I've wasted the day. I had this whole day off. What can I do? And I only have half the day, so I can't even do anything.
Oh, the time catches up.
And lately, I feel like Thanksgiving week, having the whole week off, I had a lot of things that I wanted to do. And so I had at least one main thing I wanted to do a day. And I feel like that made my week much better.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
And I was able to do those things.
Sounds like you're coming up on it negative as if you didn't.
No.
Okay, good.
I feel like I was able to do those things, which you'd think in the past I thought if I make this plan to do this thing, then it'll just take up my whole day and I won't have any relaxing time. So what's the point? Yeah. But it did the opposite because I was able to do those things, focus on it, get it done, and then have time to be
I think it's important to schedule in the relaxing time. To schedule in the relaxing time, you might maybe work your schedule backwards. I was just thinking about this. Schedule in the stuff that you want to do, stuff that maybe you don't think is productive, make it a reasonable amount of time and go backwards and then get to the things you need to do. And maybe you'll find out that you do have more than enough time for the relaxing, for the mundane. But you also might find that you want to make that time less. Mm-hmm. You also might find when you open up your screen time app on your phone and you're I spend this much time. I spend way too much time on my phone. I try to justify it by saying, well, I work on my phone. I do some things. But then I look and it's without me even knowing, it's actually most of the time being spent where I wouldn't want it to be. So on here, some of the things that we wrote down, one of the things that I liked, I'm having a hard time. There's so many. One of the things, we like to jump around. We don't like to go perfectly in order. Come on, who wants to do that? There was one in here where it said, it was talking about using technology to help. Let me see if I can find it quickly. If I can't, I will just, here we go. Tools and apps can be game changers. Number 8. Any recommendations for you guys watching on implementing successful monthly strategies? Well, we've been using multiple things. We're trying to develop some better ones though, so we'll let you guys know. But yes, we use a lot of things like that. From an app perspective, what's really cool, there's many cool things about being married, but again, we're focusing on the monthly planning. One really cool thing is literally on my phone. We haven't done it as much lately. I want to get back to it, but certain apps that I don't want to use a lot, there'll be a lock on it and a time screen lock, and I don't know the password. Esther knows the password, so then it's I can't, because you put those passwords and you're I'm not going to be on here any more than I want it to be, and then you just type in the code and then you keep going. So it's really cool to have somebody else, and you could do that with an accountability partner. You could obviously, probably that would need to be someone you know quite well, so that if you did need to get in for some reason. But then I think about it, why would you need to get into said app? Instagram. It's we have this thing in our mind, well, what if I needed to get in? You probably don't, gosh, set the code and make it a random thing with your eyes closed so you can't know it for yourself. I mean, well, seriously, but what do you think about that? Like, what is it that is so dire? I mean, yes, you could work on there. Yes, there are, but not for most people. Not for most people. Even for myself that does work on there, sell stuff online, work on social media accounts, I could probably wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, when we first made them, which was quite a long time ago now, there's just not been a reason to ever take it off.
Right.
Like, we don't want to spend hours on there. But when we first made it, which was probably multiple years ago, I did have that, like, fear of missing out. What if I, especially with, like, stories that go away, I'm like, but I want to see what my friends are doing. Okay, text them then.
Yeah, exactly.
Or hang out with them.
It's such a weird thing.
I'm like obsessed with memories and pictures. I'll look through my phone pictures like all the time. But
we also lost a whole year of our photos.
First year married.
That killed her, bro. For a couple days.
That was tough.
Another conversation.
But anyways, now that time has gone on, I'm like, why does anybody not have these?
Right.
You spend so much time. And my, like, screen time on my phone used to be like 8 hours a day. And I was like, how did that even...
That's the whole waking hours. I mean,
for the past, like, multiple years, it's been like 4.
Wow. Yeah, mine's too high again. There's no question that mine's too high again. But I also multitask very well. That's something that I do. So I'll, like, have it on.
You multitask, but you're also, like, so much energy, so much ideas, so much is going through you that if you're doing something that feels kind of mundane, you just need, like, an outlet.
100%.
To feel like you're doing
100%.
more.
Yeah, I want to be usually throughout the day I'm doing what I want to do. I'm blessed to be able to have, put some stuff together and have a, fun time. But yeah, even some of the tasks inside of the fun things that I've set up that I enjoy, it's like, I don't want to be doing this. So I hire people to do it. And then I also, need to feel like and that's not a good thing. I'm not sitting here trying to say it's a good thing. I think you can use it. I think you can use it as a good thing. I think it can be used for good, but figure out how to settle down, slow down, quiet down. One thing I'm sure we'll talk in the future, we'll probably hit one more of these, but right now, putting into I won't talk about the thing, but I'll talk about how I put it back into my schedule. Gym, self-care type stuff, weight loss. I've put that back into my schedule, and I had to schedule that out. There's certain days I go with other people at certain times, make me want to go. Accountability, right? There's times that I go by myself. And if I miss a day or two, gosh, Thanksgiving was just a little while ago. If I miss a day or two, these aren't necessarily being uploaded when we recorded them. If I miss a day or two, I just then went the next day. I didn't let it get to me. I was kind of like, I don't feel like going today. Well, I'm not going to go then. I'm not going to go. I don't feel like going. I'm going to go tomorrow. Now, that doesn't always work.
Mm-hmm.
But
that can be a dangerous thing. But for somebody like you, it's good. But you have to know yourself and know your tendencies and then figure out. Because for somebody like me, I used to do that. And very recently, I have corrected that because I'd be like, I would try and wash my face twice a day. But I'd be like, I did this morning.
Self-care stuff is
so
important.
If I miss tonight, I'll just do it tomorrow morning and it'll be fine. So I justify missing it because I did it. So I could never get to this.
It recently, so I don't have to do it again.
Yeah, I could never get to the schedule I wanted because I'd be like, but I did it that time. So because I've done it, I can miss the next one. I justify missing it because I did it.
Yeah.
But now I have been like, you did it yesterday. You don't want to miss the streak and mess up the schedule. So because I did it yesterday, I'm able to do it today.
Yeah, and it's right. So to hit on that, and then we'll wrap up here. To hit on that one point about like, well, if I miss it, I'll just go again tomorrow. Right. That's a difficult. Here's what's really great and something we've talked about a lot, and I wish